The time Rik Emmett met Paul Rodgers' wife and he thought, I think I know her. I'm John Bowden from Rock History Music. I can imagine it'd be a strange situation where you meet someone, you're going, do I have a history with her? He didn't quite have history, but his brother did. Now, both of Rik Emmett's brothers have passed on. But his younger brother, I guess, had the hots for Paul Rodgers' wife a long time before she met him, Paul Rodgers. As you'll hear in this clip, and then as he was describing her, I started realizing that one of the TV stations that aired Paul Rodgers' wife's exercise videos I worked for in the 80s. And I started realizing, wait a minute, I think I did a telethon or something, or a radiothon with this girl. Incredibly beautiful, incredibly talented. He's a very lucky man. We talk about Paul Rodgers, his wife Cynthia, and a lot more, including James Taylor and his love for the JT album on Rock History Music.
Okay, I have a great little brother story that's not in the book. You want me to tell you this?
Yeah, of course.
So I did one of these rock cruise things where one of the headliners was Paul Rodgers. And he's fantastic, by the way, like still got all of his chops. Yeah, the man can bring it, right? And so we're leaving and we've got off the boat and we're at the airport and we're waiting at our gates. And I go up to him and, I haven't seen him on the boat, but I say, Mr. Rodgers, I'm going, hey, man, I got to say, I'm just a huge fan. I love your stuff. And he goes, well, I'd like you to meet my wife. And up steps this gorgeous looking woman that's got to be, 25 years younger than he is, kind of thing. And probably his second wife, And I recognize her. And I can't remember her last name. She's Cindy something. She was a former Miss Canada. And my wife had known her at the Fitness Institute in Mississauga, where she used to do workouts and stuff. But she also had a TV show where she was doing the 20-minute workout kind of thing. And she was this incredibly gorgeous, incredibly fit kind of human being. And she starts to tell the story of how my brother tried to woo her, right? Way back in the day. And I'm going, what? She's going, oh, yeah. She goes, he used to show up at work and he would bring to my office at the fitness place. He would bring my morning coffee because I wouldn't have had. One of the things I complained to him about once was, I don't even have time to get my coffee in the morning. And so he would show up with her coffee for her. And then he was going, it was Cynthia or Cindy. Anyways, he goes, is there anything else, that, like, what is it about your life that if you could fix it? And she goes, well, I don't even have time to get my nails done. I think it was nails. I don't think it was hair. It was nails. And so the next day she shows up to work, and the woman at the front desk says, "Oh, Cindy, there's somebody waiting in your office." And she goes, "What? I don't have an appointment." And she goes up there, and my brother is there with a nails lady so that she can get her nails done. Now
he got game, man.
Yeah, and he was going all out. This is my brother. He would. If he just set his sights on something and he wanted it, he was going to go for it. And he was a salesman, like in a big way. So here's Paul Rodgers standing there, and he turns to me with that British accent going like, oh, I can't compete with that, man. That's just terrible. That's horrible. What kind of a brother you got? He sets such a high standard. I can't possibly meet this. I'm going, oh, God, hilarious. Anyhow, so that was a story about my brother.
They sat beside me at I remember Alfie stayed at my house. Alfie Zappa stayed at my house here. Him and I forget his manager's name, Annie, or anyway, they stayed here. And then I was going, he said, well, I'm doing a concert. Where are you going next? Going to Vancouver. I said, oh, I'm going to Vancouver. Bell's, then it was Chums, is flying me in because I still work there. So I flew in. And I said, let me introduce you there too. I'll introduce you. So I introduced him. And then halfway through the concert, I look around going, I tell Shannon, says, that guy looks like Paul Rodgers. There's this beautiful girl with him. Because they lived in Vancouver. I don't know if they still do. They did.
Naramata or in and around the bottom of the Okanagan-ish.
Okay.
Somewhere. What's Penticton or Naramata?
Yeah, Penticton. That's where Shannon's from. So anyway.
And wine. Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, after the show, there's a picture of Alfie with Paul Rodgers. I said, oh my God, it was Paul Rodgers. He's sitting right beside us at the table beside us. I'm going, yes, she was very beautiful. You mentioned, well, first of all, I saw James Taylor in '92 as well.
outside the P&E, outside concert. I think Valerie Carter, who we lost a few years ago, she's lost a few people in his backup singing band. But I think she was still alive and singing with him. And JT by James Taylor, Russ Kunkel's drums on there. Honey, Don't Leave L.A. Like Syndrome kind of drumming sounds. That is such a great album.
Yes. Oh yeah. I got to meet Russ Kunkel. He was out on tour with Lyle Lovett, and the guy that was road managing Lyle was my road manager for a long time, and my front of house mix guy, Mike Spinarski. And Mikey, you were talking earlier about things. He had a heart attack when he was out on the road. And of all the people that to take him to the hospital, Leland Sklar was the guy that took him to the hospital, saying, I think you've got a heart attack, man. I think I should get you to the hospital. So Leland took him. But anyways, I mean, those guys, tremendous musicians, like just, and salt of the earth kind of guys. That rhythm section that played on Linda Ronstadt records and James Taylor records, and part of that was like Peter Asher was kind of, he was James Taylor's kind of manager and producer. Yeah. And that's the same Peter Asher that was Peter of Peter and Gordon, that was Peter Asher that's sister Jane was dating Paul McCartney. So it is a kind of a small world in some ways,
Lay It on the Line is the new book from Rik Emmett. It's an amazing book. It's more about life than it is really about Triumph, but there's a lot of juicy Triumph stories, a lot of great fan stories on there. But what I enjoyed the most is his rules to life, rules that he used to become a successful rock star, really. And some of these rules I used to live by, and I've forgotten them. You know how it is when you have something that works for you, and then years later you go, when did I stop doing that? There's a lot of that in Rik Emmett's book, Laying on the Line. Links in the top of the description where you can pick it up directly from the publisher. We'll have more from Rik Emmett in the next few days. Really, comment on our videos because we read all the comments. Subscribe to our channel. It really does help. If you want to make a donation to the channel, at the very top of the description, there's a PayPal link. You can join our Patreon and get early access to our videos. Like our videos and share them on social media. I'm John Bowden. This is Rock History Music. Take care of yourself.